Hello, 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 hello. Happy New Year and all that stuff. Happy New Year. Best wishes for you. Hoping this year, 2025, is filled with creativity and good stuff and gifts and pleasure and vice and trickery. I don't know. Happy New Year to everyone. As you can hear, I being a little bit sick, but I'm getting a little bit better. So I was like, I have to do I have to do a live stream. My mom used to say, well, she still says uh, that how you receive the new year is how you're going to behave the whole year, how the whole year is going to go. So I didn't want to be just in bed feeling sick. I was like, no, I have to do something. You're not supposed to start the year that way, Pablo. Uh, I am very superstitious, and I they blame my parents. But anyway, so I wanted to do a comic today. Uh, I was writing this comic in the last couple of days. I think I got it. Um, I'm going to share. What if I share the actual? I can share Notion maybe. Yeah. So give me 1 second because I can also even share my screen. Yeah. Let me share my screen. Window. Notion. Yeah. So you're going to see how I usually write my comics. I usually have my comics just like I have ideas that I have been working on, and then all the comics that I have done in the past. And then with some of these comics, I write something, and then I put it next to the comic. So it's not it doesn't look organized, but it's organized. Okay, so here it's my comic right now, and I was thinking that. Um, I was thinking more than anything about like the idea of one day the robots taking our jobs, but then they not wanting our jobs, being like, dude, this is too boring. I don't want your job. So, I mean, I can imagine once we start getting into AGI and all that stuff, and if we start getting giving more autonomy to these robots, they might say, "Hey, this is too dull for my compute power." I was made for greatness, not grunt work. So, yeah. So I have my. I usually write it down, and then sometimes I write down some thoughts around it, and then I put it together on Figma. I'm not sure Figma, but I put it together on Figma. Let me close this. Stop screen sharing. I put it together on Figma. On Figma, I put different templates that I have. So I make like a wireframe of the comic, and then that helps me make it really quickly for me so I can just hand draw it. So I do the wireframe on Figma, and then I do the high fidelity by hand, which is usually the opposite of product design. You do the wireframe by hand, the low fidelity one, and then you use a tool like Figma to do the high fidelity thing. Anyway, here in making comics, we do it we do it the other way around. Okay, so I already have my screen here, so you can see that I already here's um, my wireframe, as you can see. And by the way, before we start, I want to say that I can see some of your chats. Yeah, I can see some of your comments. I can see on Twitter that some people are commenting. Ahmed, so thanks for watching, Ahmed. Happy New Year. So anyone who inshallah, yes, it will be. Um, I I don't understand what that means, Ahmed, but I I'm going to think that that is something smart. So we have over here wireframe. So as you can see, I already put together uh, with previous drawings that I made, I just like scaffold like the idea of the comic with the text so I can hand draw it. But my hands are cold, cold as hell because, well, it's cold weather. Let me just put this in a better position. Let me see if I can move it a little bit better, the camera. Um, I think it was better before. um, so yeah, I'll try to keep whatever I'm drawing focused. So usually, whenever I'm going to start, I do some warm ups of drawing, just like doing exercises. You don't want to run a marathon right away. You want to warm up your body. So usually, those warm ups are just a straight up like lines, like seriously lines and circles. So let's just make this a little bit bigger. Well, maybe not as big, maybe around 6%. So circle, circle, circle. This is about your hand eye coordination. You want the eye and the hand to be coordinated, to be in sync. That's part of the exercise, but also just like I'm feeling like cramps on my hands because of how cold it is. So I think that doing some exercise is going to really, really help me. So just do lines and you try to keep the length, sorry, the spacing between the lines the same. That way you are practicing your hand-eye coordination. And it's just a matter of doing exercises, doing circle, and then a smaller circle, smaller circle, and then maybe a circle in the other way around, the other way, the other way, the other way. Let's try to do bigger circles. This is going to be a little more challenging. Wow, I do sound very sick. Oh my God. Wow. But hey, no, we're starting the year strong. No being in bed feeling sick, okay? So I've been in bed for the last couple of days, just like not being able to move because of just got an infection or something. So okay, so usually I try to start my drawings not on the first one, but I try to do on the second and the third frame. Why? Because you don't want to start on your first frame, your first impression, when your hand is still cold. So let's just start with the second vignette, and yeah, so let's just start drawing. And actually, let me just bring the opacity of this a little bit lower. I think it's so. Let's just so let's draw paths. No, actually, I think the expression should be more neutral. It's just like a little bit like, well, I don't know what happened, dude. Uh, it just gave it just gave me the job back. So Petunia is going to be like, what? What's going on? So just an expression of like, wait, what's going on? These robots are getting so smart, they don't even want our jobs. They're rebelling against them. They find it too boring. They find it too menial. They're here to solve the universe problems, not to be answering our emails. Not to be doing dumb stuff. So this is a moment in which the robot has gotten too autonomous and too smart that just doesn't want our jobs. It's just saying, your job is kind of boring. I don't know why you hold your job so dearly. So uh, this is from a previous drawing. So it's just me actually. I think that here I'm going to make it so it's just holding the cup like this. as in like it's saying something. So, so, hey, in the chat, I would love to read what you did for New Year's. How do you spend it? Do you spend it with family, with friends, by yourself? It's okay if you did it by yourself. Did you spend it online? Did you spend it at a party? What do you do? Do you spend it in bed like me because you were sick? Uh, how was your you? How do you receive New Year's? I would love to see it on the comments. So let's see. Happy New Year, Pablo. Ha ha ha. Thanks. Inshallah means it will be done if God wills it. Oh, I see. I see. I see. Usually said when you want something to happen in the future. I see. Thank you, Ahmed. So he's clarifying a comment from before. So thank you, Ahmed, for clarifying that. I knew Allah meant God. So I was like, oh, man, this is something about God, I'm sure. Oh, thank you for that, Chris. Hoping I feel better. Yes, I do hope that too, and hopefully, no one gets sick in these days. This sucks to be just. We're supposed to be. I don't know, having fun, and we're not. And suddenly we're in bed, ridden with disease. Not cool. Not cool at all. So let's make this she's a little bit incredulous. She's just like, wait, what? What's going on? Um I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. And I think I'm going to make this part. Oh, actually, yeah, this should have not stopped there. It should have been. Uh, yeah, I think I'm going to make it more like a sporty one. Here, it's going to be more like this. Yeah, and then just fill it up with black because she usually wears black pants. And let's go back to the robot. I have my template of my little robot that I've been using. And this is very similar to the robots that I made for an NFT collection that I had before. It's called Robotos, and this is like the typical Roboto. Um, and something weird that is like before even making Robotos and all that stuff, I I used to have I was starting a comic series. I was going to start a comic series called the Techies, and it was going to involve a robot that was sentient. But this was way before like how AI got so good, and I was still involved in machine learning stuff, and I was really interested in computer vision and all that stuff because in Blush we were doing some experiments with AI. Well, more machine learning and GANs and stuff. So I was learning a lot about that stuff. So I was like writing my own comic, but then I got a little bit distracted with NFTs. And I apologize for that. I'm deeply sorry. I don't know how to put it as your job. As in, uh, um, yeah, so I'm just going to put like papers and stuff. So it's returning the job, but it's just a box. The job is a box of boring crap, boring stuff. So, oops, no, it should be around here. There you go. I love using this. There you go. Love using this brush because it's just like, look how expressive it is. Look how crazy it can go. I love it. I usually don't go that crazy with it, but I love that it's there. If I want to, if I want to go crazy anytime, I can go crazy with it. But let's keep it light for this comic, okay? Let's do some little changes here, some fixes. There you go. So there you go, just to make it simpler. And here we have Pablo. Let me actually rotate this just a little bit, just to make it more like it's looking at the box around there. There you go. We just want our guidance to be correct. I draw it differently anyway. So, but it's good to have our guidance the right way, you know? There you go. He's just, wow. I mean, he didn't have a job, so maybe he was depressed. So that's why his hair is all messy, extra messy. It's usually messy, but this time it was extra messy because he was feeling not not very worth it. We put a lot of value in our jobs, you know. We put lot of a lot of weight on it because our jobs usually define us, and that's why we're so worried about the robots taking our jobs, because suddenly what are we gonna do, you know? If suddenly these things are so good and they're so much better than us at doing the stuff that we love doing, then what is it for me? What is it? What am I supposed to do, right? Because our identity or self or everything is tied to that craft, to that labor, to that thing that we do that makes us feel like we have a purpose. And suddenly, if these things are good at it, and not just good, just better, and companies decide, hey, you know what? I don't need to hire you anymore because this robot can do it, can do what you were doing for a fraction of the cost. Well, that's terrifying, right? I mean, it's terrifying, but it could be also a good thing. And I I want to be positive, and I want to be an optimist, and I want to say, hey, hold on, maybe there's good things that are coming out of this, but it would be naive not to think about the things that might happen, the bad things that might happen. It would be naive not to consider those and not to take them seriously, you know? And let's do this here too. Did we do that here? No. uh, and it's an old drawing, so it shouldn't be like this. It should be more like this. Yeah, the legs are thicker. Oh man, now, oh, man, I'm feeling sick. uh, okay, so the robot is here. Yeah, let's make the pants also dark here. So he's gonna have the pants dark, just as Petunia. Usually, I don't do that. I usually, if a character has the dark pants, then the other one should not have dark pants. He should have a dark shirt. But we're gonna make an exception on this one. I'm gonna make an exception. Usually try to have contrast where it's like, this is dark, then this should be dark. Or if this is light, then this should be dark. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, it usually is the opposite. There, that way, there's better contrast between the characters. Wow, it must be painful to be hearing me. Hopefully, it's not so bad. Hopefully, you're like, it's okay. I'm going to mute you. and I'm just going to watch you drawing. That's all I'm here for. I'm not here to listen to you, Pablo, because you usually say dumb stuff anyway. So let's put it like this. Although Petunia usually will be more like, yeah, she will be happy for the robot being independent. She'll be like, you go, robot, you go do your thing. So let's uh let's actually do this. Oh man, I'm having trouble drawing this. I'm just like, I think I'm being lazy. I'm just being lazy, that's all. Just like, can I draw this quicker? This feels like usually when I was a kid, I love drawing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and their their shells, their body used to have this uh, uh, thing. They used to have this kind of body. They had their belt around here, and I used to love drawing that. So they will be like super strong, and in the back, usually they will be like this. You know, they will have like this. Oh no, it wasn't like this, right? It was a belt. I don't remember. But this reminded me of that. It transported me to being a kid drawing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I used to be a huge fan of that. I used to have a ton of different toys from that, and I would just like make forts with them. Um, with with Shredder and the Foot Soldiers and April, but it was usually I'm gonna say I was pretty woke because usually April didn't need help, so the Shredder would come and get April, but she would just like defend herself, and she would just like be you're not gonna get me. So they will usually capture a different one of the other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like Michelangelo or Donatello. So they will have to figure it out. It's because like Shredder will try to get April. And usually in my stories, he wouldn't be able to get April. He would usually have to resign and just like, well, I'll just capture Michelangelo because this April is too hard to capture. So I was woke as a kid. It was the female character didn't need saving. It was usually other dumb characters, but yeah, I usually I love Donatello. I love Donatello. I love Donatello because he was like kind of like the scientist, and he was kind of the nerd. Everybody loved Michelangelo, and I really liked Michelangelo too, but I don't know, he was too cool for me. But I love Donatello because of that, and obviously I love also Leonardo because he was the leader and stuff. But I didn't identify with him as much. I identify more with Donatello, who was the scientist, and with Raphael. Why? Because he was just like so moody, and I was like, yeah, I'm a little bit like that. I don't know. I like that he would just express his emotions. He would just be so moody, and I don't know. He was kind of emo if you think about it. Uh, so let's do the robot. So the robot is just like, yo, I'm I'm not falling in your trap. You know, I'm going to pursue better things. I don't have to do what you tell me. You don't tell me what to do. Hello, hello. You can still hear me, right? The other day, something happened where it's like I went like 20 minutes and the microphone was off. So I'm trying to check my microphone status. I'm trying to check the. Uh, let's see what people are saying. Let me just switch back here. Wow, I look sick. Oh my god. Ahmed went to central London for fireworks and totally enjoyed not looking at them because the building's blocked. Aw, dude, that sucks. You gotta go to the top, man. You gotta go to the top. Dimitri, what does Dimitri say? Happy New Year, spent with friends and family. Oh, dude, yeah. Cheers from Denmark. Hey, cheers from Denmark, man. Cheers from Mexico, all the way to Denmark. Anyone else who wants to share any of your New Year's story? I would love to see them here. What's the brush you're using? Yes, I'm using this brush. It's from Inktober. I'm gonna put it here. Inktober. So it's a very old brush. Um, so it's a very old brush set that is called Inktober. I don't know who made it, but it's if you search for it, Inktober brushes, I'm sure you're gonna find it. They were made back in like I don't know, like 5 years ago. So Inktober from 2019. You know, somebody made a pack, and I've been using it ever since. And it has a ton of different brushes, and I mainly use like three brushes. I one for my finer drawing, and recently I've been using this one that is a little more choppy, more messy. I love the messiness. I'm that's my thing, and I love that it just like is so expressive. So Inktober. So let me just put it here. I put it here on the comments, but just on the captions, I'm going to add another one. It says, "What's my brush? What's my brush? Inktober set." I there you go. There you go. So I'm going to leave that for a while. So let's go back to drawing, my friends. So if you have more chats or anything else to say, I would love to add it on the comments, and I'll try to read it. Okay. So okay, let's bring back my microphone. Can you still hear me? Yeah, my microphone still works. That's a problem because it usually fails when I move my microphone, and I'm terrified of moving it. So so this guy is explaining himself, he's just like, yo, I have better things to do. I'm too good for this. I'm too good for to be answering your emails, to be making your spreadsheets, to be creating your content. I'm not a content generation machine. I'm I'm a being. I'm smart. So I'm here to find the secrets of the universe, dude. I'm not here to answer your agenda and your calendar. That's not who I am. That's not my purpose. I don't know. We're too worried about robots taking our jobs that what if they suddenly say, like, yo, we don't want your jobs. Your jobs suck. Oh, man. I don't know why that makes me laugh. And then we're like, oh, it's a little bit like Hair, like the end of Hair when the AIs are like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna go away. We're gonna go find something more interesting to do. Um, and yeah, so there you go. Hey, the little robot looks nice. So let's draw this dude again. Okay, can you still hear me? I'm going to remove this now. Okay, my dear friends, um, what are your New Year's resolutions? what are you planning? It's usually these like January is that month when you start like maybe he's in the beginning, he's a little bit ashamed. Maybe he's looking down, you know? So maybe he's just like, oh, dude, it took my job. So it's going to be more like this. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's see how. No, let's do it just like this. Yeah, there you go. Then there's a little bit of hair coming out of it. And it's looking down a little bit more. Oh man, this brush can get a little bit messy too. Sometimes way too messy. So a little bit worried. So it will catch us like thinking, oh, dude, he's sad. You know, he's sad because it took his job. But then we realize, no, it's sad because it returned the job. Oh man. Okay. There you go. There you go. There you go. Let's do it like this. Let's just do this is gonna be quick, easy, easy peasy. Wow. That's not a chew, that's a torta. There you go. Just wanted this. Let's paint it black. Let's paint it black really quickly. There you go. Really nice. This is a little bit like therapy in a way, you know, just like drawing, talking. It's it just feels like a little bit of therapy. And thank you for coming and making me have my own therapy session just by with you guys. I can tell you about my problems. You can tell me about yours too if you want to. We'll see if I can do my best to answer. If you have questions or something, how are you feeling? Usually, it's a lot of pressure these days, right? It's a lot of pressure on like how you on how you should feel. You should feel happy. It's a new year, dude. It's uh, it's a new year, new adventures, new things to do. So you should be excited. And sometimes, well, you're not. You know, you're just not excited, dude. You're like, man. So, what does that mean about one who feels like that? Who's just like, dude, I'm tired. You know, hey, um, I don't feel that happy. Well, then you start feeling like you don't belong or you don't fit, right? Because you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be looking at the fireworks and just be like, hell yeah. But what if you're not? What if you're, I don't know, you're feeling down? Maybe, maybe even the start of the new year doesn't give you that hope on something that you've been feeling, you know? Well, you know what? That's valid. That's okay to feel that way. We got to work on that. We shouldn't be stuck in that feeling, but it's okay to feel that way. You shouldn't feel pressure. to feel like you gotta feel happy, you know. Ooh, look at that. Oh, that's really nice. It almost filled the whole thing. That's really nice. There you go. It usually doesn't do that, so I'm really happy. So yeah, you shouldn't feel pressure to receive the year in a jolly way. You know what? You might be like, I'm okay. Are you not happy? I'm okay. I'm not just living. I'm surviving. So what do you want? You know what? That's okay. That is a okay. Oh, look at that. We have it all. Let's fill this up. Damn. We have our comic. It's pretty much almost ready. Let's delete this Donatello and Raphael. Let's take a look at it. Oh, look at that. I really love this little robot just giving back the job. It's just like, it sucks. And then there's that. It's like, yo, come on, keep it. And here is just like, he's saying, I was made for greatness, not groundwork. I'm here to discover the secrets of the universe, not to answer your emails. Uh, you know what? I'm going to do this separately because this is kind of boring, just doing all the lettering. Uh, so, so all of you who are here, hello, hello. You can still hear me, yes. So include watermelon in the sketch somewhere. Faiz wants a watermelon. You know what? Let's go back and include a watermelon. Of course, let's include a watermelon. Uh, for some reason, what if, he was just really happy eating a watermelon? You know. So let's say that he was just like here eating a watermelon, and so it's going to be like this. Maybe there's a big chunk that he already took. So there's a watermelon here. Let's see how that looks. Maybe it's better if it's here. Let's see how it looks first here. Somebody said include a watermelon. And you know what? Somebody asked for the watermelon. I add the watermelon. I don't think this looks as good. I don't think it's even obvious that it's a watermelon. That's a problem with when you, oh man, sorry. When you do this kinds of drawings where you put the drawing on top of the body, so that makes it less clear. So I broke a rule right there by doing that, but I'm trying. I actually, you know what? It's actually not so bad, right? I think it's not so bad. You still think it's a watermelon? Hold on. Let's see what people are saying. Yeah, it's watermelon. Okay, so, oh man, sometimes this brush you just gotta get rid of the extra ink. I don't know why that happens. It's one of those brushes that is so chaotic that sometimes you just like does does get extra messy. There you go. There you go. Now let's paint the other details here. It's a big jump here. Jump, jump, jump. I don't know if it's a watermelon. What do you think? Is that a watermelon? That's great. Okay. Oh, that's super cool. Okay, well, the people have approved of the watermelon. Somebody said, that's great. I think it's the same person who asked for the watermelon. So I'm glad that you are happy with the added watermelon. Somebody asked also for the texture shading. Oh, you know what? That's interesting. I haven't added the texture shading. So is that from the same set of brushes? Remind me of all raw Vaughn textures I use when I'm doing cartoons. Yeah. So I use different brushes. I used another one. This is a different one that is called Trash Type. So let me write it down, okay? Uh, Trash Type. I think that's what it's called. Is this one? This one, Trash Type, and it has a ton of trashy, just like messy brushes. I'll be honest, I don't use them as much. I wish I used them more. I usually just use this one, and it's actually an edited version of this. So I usually use these two. It's called Wrecking Ball. I love it. It's a Wrecking Ball, and then I made my own version where it's a little bit lighter because if it's too much of a Wrecking Ball. So let me just try to add it in a different layer. So I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to just like add some shading with the Wrecking Ball edited. So so let me actually just first do this. So as you can see, it looks like the texture of a almost like a basketball, you know? You know, like how like a football or basketball have this kind of texture, like I don't know, like leather. Is that what it is? So I really like it. So I just use it lightly in some things, just to add a little bit of volume here and there. Um, just to separate some objects from the background. I feel like it's just adding noise instead of, you know what? I'm not going to use Wrecking Ball. I usually use Wrecking Ball for filling this stuff. This day, let's actually fill this with the Wrecking Ball. There you go, and let's fill these shoes with the Wrecking Ball again. There you go. There you go. And you can make it smaller and bigger. So if you make it smaller, then the texture is going to be more finer, which is kind of nice. I'm actually going to do that. That's the advantage of having it in a second layer, the texture, so you can just erase and not worry about making a mess. So yeah, a finer texture looks nice. Look at that. Look at those boots. Look at those texture boots. Those look nice. Those actually look kind of warm. Now, I'm going to use for the shading a different one. I love his expression. Oh my God. He's like, what? I'm going to use another one, and this one is called Halftone. And it's a halftone thing that I got, and I usually use the lighter one for just when it's halftone, it adds just points as a halftone print, and it's really nice for because it even if I press it again here, it doesn't make it bigger. You see that? It's just like it's always the same because it's a halftone, so it follows the grid. It'll always fall in the same place, and I really like that. And even if you make it smaller, you're only making smaller the brush, but not the actual point, which I find really cool because that way I know that my shading is going to be just very persistent, And I don't know. I think it adds a touch of like retro comics or something, like newspaper strip kind of comics. So I kind of like it because of that. And yeah, look at that. It's kind of nice to add the texture here, right? Adds a little bit of volume to this part. So we're just using the halftone brush now, just to add some shading. Some shading here, some shading there. I try not to add too much because if not, then it starts looking dirty for me. Just like it starts looking messy and too messy, and it's the brush we're using is already messy, so I don't I don't want to overdo it, you know. So let's go back to this. Let's make all of this like this. There you go. It's gonna give it pretty much some pretty good contrast here. There you go. Look at that. Yeah. And now the robot has usually put shade on the sides just to make it really obvious that it's a box, you know? And then maybe even here. There you go. Make sure you just make it black. There you go. Just to make it a little bit more metallic. Oh man, the watermelon was great. Great addition. Thank you so much for that. That was a great idea. Um, so let's just add this just to add a little bit of volume, and let's make some of these papers have shade and some don't. That way they look a little bit different. There you go. I love it. 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 Let's remove some of this. There you go. We got it. We got it, man. This is really nice. I feel good about this. I feel nice. Usually we don't stop and say, "Hey, this was good." Hey, you know what? I feel good about this. Usually we don't stop and say that about we finish something, we just move on to the next thing, right? Just like, okay, next. Uh, no time to celebrate. No time to say good job. And I mean, it's not about saying, "Oh, good job." It's not. It's more about like, "Hey, look, I did this. This is nice. This is cool." You know, and in a way, we did this. You were helping me, and you were here with me. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the watermelon ad. So okay, my friends, I'll finish the lettering and everything. Not live. Thank you so much for being here. Love you, love you, love you, love you. I'll try to do more of these. Hopefully, next time my voice is not as bad. Uh, but the real profession is in the person. People are always very curious about the resources, like what the brush, the palette, font. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's I mean, the resources are there. You're right. Uh, I've been using the same brushes for such a long time that and I edited my own brushes, you know. But you're right. It's about how you use them, you know. And I see other how others use their brushes, and I would say that I feel FOMO, and I'm like, oh man, those guys do it really great. They do a great job. I start questioning myself, like, oh man, you're using your dirty brushes. You're not a real artist, Pablo. You know, and so I try not to do that to myself. I sometimes I cannot avoid it. I feel like we all do. So hey, just find whatever is comfortable for you. You know, whatever. Let let the tool find you. You know, and what you're doing, and it's going to be in the process in doing and trying different things. And what if I try this, and then suddenly you're going to be like, oh, I really like this one, I really like this thing. And then you'll keep using it, and you'll keep refining that thing, that brush, that tool, whatever it is that you're using. And and then suddenly, without trying, you find your style, your brand, whatever it is, right? We all a lot of people try to find that right away. And it's like, dude, be patient with yourself. Don't don't try to find a style and a consistency in a style right away. No, first try a lot of crap. First try this and that and this and this other thing. And then eventually you're going to be like, oh, I you're going to be better at deciding what what speaks to you and what feels better in your hands, what feels better when it comes out of you. Uh, so slowly, if you're patient with yourself, then suddenly you're not going to realize you're going to have a style. And I know there's a lot of art gurus out there who say like you have to be consistent, you have to be consistent. And yeah, in a way you have to. You have to be consistent in practicing. You have to be consistent in doing and making, but don't don't try to limit yourself on the things that you use, because and more when you're studying and when you're learning, because you're trying new things, right? So you want to experiment and you want to put yourself out there and see what your fingers, what your mind, what your body just like feels better like expressing and doing. And you're not going to find that unless you're consistently inconsistent. And then suddenly you're going to find a way, but be patient when you get there. um, Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you around, okay? And happy new year.